What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jermaine Views. Listen, we gotta talk. I know you guys see the caption, so we gotta talk. We gotta talk about what's really going on here. Like, there have never been a time in history when you have so many Americans living overseas in different countries in tropical regions like South America, uh, Southeast Asia, and all those tropical places. And it makes you wonder. America was supposed to be the land of the free, home of the brave, and the land of milk and honey. But recently, that has changed. Have you guys ever heard of a company, a wonderful company called BlackRock? Another wonderful one called State Street and Citadel, and all those guys. They are going around and buying up all the single family homes in America, and they're listing them on Airbnb for rentals, or they just renting them out to the general public. So people really can't afford shit. People can't afford to buy a home. People can't afford to nothing. So people are like, leaving. People are leaving. People are going overseas and get some experiences in different areas and different regions. And when they do go to some of these places, just maybe for vacation, they are literally prospecting these areas to potentially move to in the future because it's crazy here in America how out of whack reality is and how the basic necessities here are no longer affordable for a multitude of people. And you know it sucks because you know it just sucks. People really can't afford to do anything. These companies, they're buying up everything and they just taking away everything. And for example, look at food, right? I've said it before on many different occasions. I think that food in America is pretty much a science project. Like, I'm really struggling now to really find good quality food to eat that is not overly sprayed with pesticides and insecticides, and that's not like genetically modified. Like, it's really hard, man. Everything here is like a science project. The food is trash, and on top of being so trash, it's very expensive. So not only are you eating trash, you're paying premium to eat trash. Like, I've never seen that before. It's crazy. It is crazy. You're paying premium to eat garbage food. Like, that is not of much nutritional value to you, and it's just really disgusting how things are these days, and how expensive they're making living for people, the majority of people here in America. And so people are leaving. So before it used to be the passport boys who really were like interested in going to these South American countries or Southeast Asia or the Caribbean just to get women. But now you see people, families, really exploring those options and going out there and prospecting these islands and different countries that are more suitable to live from a cost of living perspective with their family. Worst if they work from home or if they work remotely and they can stay there in places like, for example, like Bali, like Vietnam, or like Taiwan, or you know Costa Rica. Those are some prime spots like a lot of Americans are, and they can work remotely from there and still get their normal wages they get from the States. That's an ideal situation, man. Like traveling really opened up my eyes a little bit to see that, you know, and don't get me wrong, everywhere in the world have some sort of issue. Like every country has some sort of issue. You know what I mean? But you have to weigh your options and weigh, you know what you want, but I just don't think it's fair for you to be paying premium dollar for trash food that's getting you sick and that's really messing with your body structure and your system. Like I was in I know I'm rambling a lot, but I was in for example, I was in Peru for a little bit, and the food there, the quality of food is outstanding. Like you get fresh foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, like nothing oversprayed with a bunch of pesticides and insecticides. I don't really eat meat and stuff like that. And you could see like the chicken there. Like I went to the market and the chicken there was freshly killed. You see, it's not like here in the States, you see some chicken, their legs is like the chicken leg is like this big, like swollen, big, swollen. Like that goes to show that there's so much like antibiotics and growth hormones in those chickens. Like I don't think those chickens are fit for human consumption. But like when I was comparing those type of chickens to the ones that I saw in Peru, literally it's a difference. You could see that the ones in Peru are real chicken, are not genetically modified. Here the chickens are just disgusting, man. I'll trust me. I told myself that I'll never eat another piece of chicken here in the States, knowing that what I know and knowing how it is made, and these are the type of foods they're forcing down, not really forcing down because there's options in the United States. But if you want to eat good, you're gonna have to have money to really make sure you can afford to eat the way how you're supposed to be eating and not eating garbage. But they're not forcing it on us, but like those are the ones that are more appealing because they're cheaper and it's more appealing to a vast majority of people who cannot afford to eat the right way. So traveling really helps you to see another side of the world and how you can appreciate eating good food um, that is of good quality and that is of high quality and that's good for you. Um, so yeah, people are leaving in rapid numbers, and the numbers don't lie because one, they cannot afford to buy a home, and a lot of people are caught up in this perpetual cycle of renting and moving and renting and moving, and by the time you know it, you are your life catch up on you, and you're like, all right, does it make sense for me to buy now or continue renting? And ultimately, you're just gonna continue renting because of what situations may be. But it is so out of whack, and you know, people cannot afford to buy homes nor feed their family quality food. Like now, even the fast food places here in the States, I don't understand like why are they allowed to operate the way how they operate, because they have different rules and regulations in other countries in terms of like, how they prepare their meal and the ingredients and stuff like that, and the salt content and the sugar content. Like it is absolutely wild to see how um things are in the States. Like, you know, I'm not saying, listen, every country in the world, and I said it before and I'm gonna say it again, has some sort of issues they're facing. But the real issue here today, why a lot of people move into like some tropical areas where they can appreciate life more, is in America, you're paying top quality, not quite top quality, you're paying top dollars for garbage. Like some of these places you're renting is garbage, you know, not the majority, but most of them. You're renting is garbage. The food you're eating is garbage. It's a science project. It comes out of the lab. Like, and when you go to places like Vietnam, and I've never been to Vietnam before, but I've seen some content creators who I follow on YouTube who really shows what the quality of life is and how people are living there. It makes you wonder, why is it so expensive here in the States to live and have a quality of life compared to those other places where you're getting a better food sources, you're getting better and more comfortable accommodation, and you're paying 30% or 70%. No, I'm sorry, you're paying 70% less than what you pay here in the state for for accommodation and food. It is absolutely crazy. So the wild thing is that people are leaving in numbers, and what's going to happen? What's really going to happen? Like, and I'm not here saying that I would like stuff to be free, and I'm not here saying that I would like stuff to be, because I believe in capitalism. But and the thing about capitalism is capitalism should be able to make things cheaper for the vast majority. Everyone, if it's been offered, like, a lot, like in society, like you have a lot of different people selling chicken, a lot of different people selling corn and stuff like that. Just a basic example. That's the essence of capitalism. When you have more people offering the same things, it should be easier to produce and manufacture over time, and that makes the cost, less. But it is not what it is, in the United States now. And yeah, people are just tired of it, and they just want to be out. And some of the top spots that I've been seeing a lot of people going and migrating to are like Vietnam, um, like Vietnam, the Philippines, and Vietnam, the Philippines, Bali, Indonesia. In South America, you have a lot of people going down there to like Peru. A lot of Canadians are in Peru, Americans too, of course. Um, Costa Rica, Chile, Argentina. Few people move to Colombia, but I wouldn't recommend moving to live in Colombia. It's wild. We could leave it like that. Um, Even in Malaysia, places like that where, you know, cost of living is more affordable and the quality of life is more affordable, and you don't have to, I'm not saying you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, but you can see your way. You can see your way. You know what I mean? I've never been to those places, but again, I've seen people, I've known personal experiences there, but I have personal experience going to Peru and Lima. A matter of fact, that's like one of the sub one of the capital. That's the capital city of Peru, and it was great. It was really great. You eat top quality stuff, and the price of it is not as crazy as how it is in America in terms of how expensive stuff are. And another thing that I want to like talk about too is basically how like what I went to a restaurant in Peru, and they were all about serving you, like giving you, giving you top quality service, and at the end of the meal there wasn't a section on the mail that really asking you for a tip. You know, here in the States, when you buy something at a restaurant, they sit down, they give you some places give you some really dirty attitude and dirty service, but at the end of the meal, they're recommending gratuity 10, 15, 20, 30%, 50%, 60% sometimes. It's a total opposite in Peru, where, you know, based on the restaurants I've been to when I was there, you get top quality service. The waiters and stuff like that pay detailed attention to you, and they cater to you, and they don't recommend you giving them like a crazy tip or a crazy percentage tip. I think tipping is based, personally, I think tipping is based on your service. If your service suck, don't ask me for no crazy tip. Don't ask me for no crazy tip. So those are some of the things that people are really looking into too, like that, is playing a part in their decision making. If they want to move out of United States and go somewhere else, or if they want to stay here, they make. Listen, a lot of people are making a well-rounded, well-informed decision, and they're looking at all aspects of life. They're looking at customer service when they go to places. They're looking at the quality of stuff. They're looking at detailed attention to how the service they get, how good it is. All of that they put in perspective, and the decision is they're leaving. Like, they're leaving. When you see a family take a big vacation trip to go somewhere down South America or whatever it is, it's not only for a vacation. They're prospecting some of these areas, and this is personal experience too. I can attest to this because a buddy of mine recently did that. They went to Costa Rica, like an older guy from me, like he's older, he's in his 40s, mid 40s, going to 50s. He went to Costa Rica, and he went with his entire family, and he went there just to figure out how the immigration system worked, and figure out if he can just get up with his family and just leave to go there just to live, and figure out how to get like documented from an immigration perspective, so he could be there legally, setting up shop, maybe open up a business there, or be able to work there and offer his services or something. So that's what he did. He spent 3 weeks up there, and last time I spoke to him, he said, like, listen, I'm, trying to get my affairs in order, because he think he's gonna make the move because of what he was exposed to, and how the quality of life there is good. The school system there is good, and you have, some Americans there too who really get down there, set up a really nice school system, that really teach English, and natural, not natural, but the regular American curriculum, math, English, and sciences, and whatever it is. He said that they have that there. So I'm happy for that dude. He's making a good move to really get out of this stuff, because I think the United States is on a race to the bottom as it relates to quality of life for people, and how people will be able to survive in this country going forward. We like the gadgets we can get in America, the tech, and the things that are readily available and accessible to us from a living point of view. For example, you could get up and go credit the newest and latest iPhone whenever you want, or whatever, but it's not so easy in some countries, yeah. But put all that aside, the quality of life and the ability to just walk and have conversations with people, and just give up the hustle and bustle, and get and adapt to a slower pace of life. Like, slower is not always mean you're downgrading your life and downgrading what you're exposed to. Slower sometimes mean you're living. You could stop for a minute to appreciate life more, and breathe in, and and see what life is all about. And you don't have to be rushing to do everything and living paycheck to paycheck, and the next bill coming in crazy, and you gotta be worried where the money is gonna come from to pay that bill. There's a slower pace of life in some of these places. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there's no struggles in some of these places. Of course, some of these places are struggling way more than here. But you know, and don't get me wrong too. A lot of you guys might be saying, "All right, if you don't leave like it here, why don't you leave?" Listen, I'm not from here. I'm from Jamaica. You understand? And I really do think that the United States is still one of the greatest country in the world, but something needs to change because it wasn't like this. Um, how it is going now. The trajectory of the country is, as I said before, it's on a race to the bottom for the middle class and for people, common folks. Yes, the rich people, the multi-millionaires, the billionaires, some of these politicians who are tricking you. I don't want to be political in this, but some of these politicians who are wolf in sheep's clothing and appeal to your emotions and stuff like that. They have money, so they live the life they want to live off your back. And some of these guys who really put out the effort and make this themselves into somebody and set up companies and stuff like that. They're living the type of life they like. You know what I mean? So, yeah, America is still one of the greatest country in the world, but at the same time, you gotta ask yourself, who's America being is great for in a way. There's tons of opportunities here, but there's a but. And the way how things are set up right now, it is absolutely hard. And I'm not trying to say I want things easy or things should be easy. Nothing is easy is good, but it is it is something to think about, man. Trust me, it's something to think about in terms of how you want the direction you want to take your family going forward. You know what I mean? And you only start thinking about some of these things when you start traveling, when you start going different places, when you start experiencing different places. You know what I mean? When you start experiencing how different places operate and the quality of life in different places. You know, it is wild. You know what I mean? So I think, guys, there's two options to this. It's either you're gonna stay and fight or you're gonna fly. You're gonna stay and fight it out, stick it out, and you know fight the system and stay within a community like a group. A group of people who are going the same direction or have the same aspirations that you have, and you guys are gonna create a community and make things work. You know, or you're just gonna get up, take your family, and say, "Listen, I'm out of here. I'm out of here." Like the me the, like the price for homes right now in America is out of hand. It is out of hand. The price of homes right now in the United States is out of hand. Everywhere you go is out of hand. Like right now, I don't see anyone having a mortgage below 3,500 based on interest rates and how everything just ballooned overnight is out of hand. So I really don't understand how can how families, especially people with a lot of kids, do this stuff. You know, you have to think out of the box, really. You have to come up with creative ideas to really survive. And listen, I'm not telling anyone And this is not what I'm advocating for. I'm not advocating for anyone just to get up and leave blindly and don't even know what the hell they're doing and know what, just jump from a bad situation to an even worse situation by just getting up without doing the groundwork, doing the legwork, doing the research to know exactly where you're going and exactly how to position yourself when you get to the place you want to get to. I'm not advocating for that. All I'm saying is I'm just like shedding light on the trend, and the trend is people are leaving here, especially Black Americans. Some of these young dudes who I see are leaving here just to set up shop in other places that are more accommodating, that are more easier to live from a financial perspective, and they can be there in those places and paying a $600 a month rent or acquire some property there and build up themselves where they're not paying as much as they would pay in the United States. So that's what I'm shedding a light on. Like, there's a possibility outside of this country to really live a quality of life that you always want to live. I think everyone deserves to live a quality of life, and everyone want to live a quality of life. And sometimes that quality of life fell short because we're stuck in one geographical area, and the things we are being fed and the things we are being exposed to is toxic for us. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Please, this is truth. I'm talking truth right here, and this is Jermaine Views. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop any content. But I just want to see this place get better, man. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. You don't have to watch, but you do watch, and we appreciate you watching. So I'm gonna be out. All right. Have a blessed day, guys.